Sorry we're late. I was about to start stream and then I remembered I needed to put my laundry in the dryer so it'd be ready. It would be dry before bed. So I went to do that. So I was putting my clothes in the dryer. And then my brother texted me and says that the breaker tripped, so the Wi-Fi went down. It's fine, Sterling. It says that all the time. Where's your subscription? I don't know. It says you've been previously subbed for 3 months. Was it a gift sub? Anyway, so I'm glad I went out to put my laundry in the dryer instead of starting stream. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, so I'm glad I was out putting laundry in the dryer when the internet went out. So, anyway, that's why we're late. Because if I had started the stream, it would have died in like right now. It would have been dead before the first ad break, and that would have been quite annoying. So we're here. We're here now. But hi, Sterling. Congrats on getting first year. How you doing? It's good to see you. Okay, well, just pulling up chat on my phone. There we go. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. I put the going live messages in Discord and stuff. And then I was like, hold on, I need to put my clothes in the dryer. So I contemplated on doing it. I left to go do it. I was like, nah, it'll take too long. And I was going to come back, like, nah, I'll just do it. And then the Wi Fi went down for a couple minutes. So, yep. Hi, Grid. How you doing, sweetheart? How you doing? Good to see you. We have the first ad break about 1.5 minutes. Just about. It is Friday. I did remember to post lives today. I probably almost forgot, and then I remembered Crid Discord sent that image of the like a spoof of the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland tapping his watch. It's like a really nice. I don't know if it's a digital art piece or if it is like on canvas. It's probably digital. The, the train conductor from Dinosaur Train tapping his pocket watch. Like that is so high. Like, where did you find that, Crid? Where on earth did you find that? That's nuts. Thank you for subscribing, resubscribing, Sterling. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. 3 months in a row. Thank you. Mwah, 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 mwah. Thank you, Sterling. But how are you, Crit? How are you, Sterling? Yeah, thighs have been posted on Twitter and Blue Sky. This week is those tights with the fishnet section on the thighs with the um what's it called? Strap? What's it called? Why can't I remember? I can't remember. Anyway, this week brings you some tights, and more bare legs because you guys seem to like those ones. People seem to like those ones. Okay, Sterling, have a nice shower. What's it called? The strap that you wear to keep your stockings up? What's it called? Why can't I remember? It's like right there. Oh my goodness. I can't remember. What is it called? Garter. A garter. A garter belt. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. It's a garter belt. You want some water sounds? Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, sorry about not streaming last night. I was just not feeling good. I didn't have the energy to do a like I did what I felt like would the energy. I lacked words. I felt like I lacked the energy to do like a put on an entertaining stream or like a stream at all really. Um Just a bummer because Ari was actually available this week, so but yeah, I had a pretty bad migraine last night. I don't know why. I think I was lacking some sleep, probably. I would try doing like gulping sounds. People like those, right? But my water jug's too big. It's unwieldy. Welcome back from the break, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you. Appreciate it a lot. Did you have something yummy to eat today, Crit? For dinner today, I ate the last hot dog. We had one more hot dog left. So I cooked that, and then my mom gave me her leftovers from. Uh, she went out for lunch today. I got a grilled cheese sandwich with like brisket or something. It's pretty yummy. Shredded pork or beef. Sorry about the burp. Excuse me. Sorry. Did you eat something yummy today, Crid? Man, I haven't watched Dinosaur Train in like a really long time. I think that show. I think they're still making new episodes of Dinosaur Train. I think. It's about the sniffles. My sister has like hay fever or something. We think it's hay fever, but she might just have a cold. So I don't know. I was kind of sniffly yesterday too. I don't know why. So, I started watching the Darth Maul show with my dad a couple nights ago. We watched up through episode 3 last night. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Okay, there you go, kid. Was that enough water sounds for you? Sorry, had that cough. So, last time, I was gonna start reading the Wikipedia article about the Morrison Formation, but we didn't get around to it. It's also kind of a long article. It is quite a long article. Not as long as the article about the snowy owl or the brontosaurus. Maybe as long as the brontosaurus article. Maybe this is probably shorter. Excuse me, sorry, goodness. So I'm just gonna start reading it because I want to. Oh yeah, I forgot to put that dinosaur card game thing on my throne. I'll do that before bed. Okay.
Alright. The Morrison Formation is a distinctive sequence of Upper Jurassic sedimentary rock found in the western United States, which has been the most fertile source of dinosaur fossils in North America. It is composed of mudstone, sandstone, siltstone, and limestone. It is light gray, greenish gray, or red. Most of the fossils occur in the green siltstone beds and lower sandstones, relics of the rivers and floodplains of the Jurassic period. It is centered in Wyoming and Colorado, with outcrops in Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Idaho. Equivalent rocks under different names are found in Canada. It covers an area of 1.5 million square kilometers, or 600,000 square miles. Although only a tiny fraction is exposed and accessible to geologists and paleontologists, over 75% is still buried under the prairie to the east, and much of its western paleogeographic extent was eroded during exhumation of the Rocky Mountains, which I'm guessing is like when the Rockies formed. Yeah, when buried. Okay, exhumation is the process by which a parcel of buried rock approaches the Earth's surface. Okay.
Oh yeah, like exhume a body. Okay, gotcha. Thank you for the record, Rod. Thank you, sweetheart. Hope you're doing well. It was named after
Morrison, Colorado, where some of the first fossils in the formation were discovered by Arthur Lakes in 1877. Smooth with my transitions in conversational topics. Thank you. That same year it became the center of the Bone Wars, a fossil collecting rivalry between early paleontologists Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope. Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the thighs. Okay. Thank you, Conrad. Thank you, sweetheart. Last week was, that day was a day with a fresh razor. So, nice and smooth. In Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah, the Morrison Formation was a major source of uranium ore. geologic history. According to radiometric dating, the Morrison Formation dates from 156.3 plus 2, I don't know, a plus symbol with a minus sign underneath it. I don't know what that means. 2 million years old at its base. To 146.8 million years old at the top, which places it in the earliest Cambrian and early Devonian stages of the late Jurassic. This is similar to the age of the Solnhofen limestone formation in Germany and the Tendaguru formation in Tanzania. The age and much of the fauna is similar to the Lorena formation in Portugal. Throughout the western United States, it variously overlies the Middle Jurassic Somerville, Sundance, Bell Ranch, Wanaka, and Stump formations. At the time, the supercontinent of Laurasia had recently split up into the continents of North America and Eurasia. Though they were still connected by land bridges, North America moved north and was passing through the subtropical regions. The Morrison Basin, which stretched from New Mexico in the south to Alberta, and Saskatchewan in the north, I don't know if I said that right, sorry, was formed during the Nevadan orogeny, a precursor event to later orogenic episodes that created the Rocky Mountains started pushing up to the west. The deposits from their east-facing drainage basins carried by streams and rivers from the Elko Highlands along the borders of present-day Nevada and Utah. It deposited in swampy lowlands, lakes, river channels, and floodplains. Became the Morrison Formation. In the north, the Sundance Sea, an extension of the Arctic Ocean, stretched through Canada down to the United States. Coal is found in the Morrison Formation of Montana, which means the northern part of the formation along the shores of the sea was wet and swampy with more vegetation. Aeolian or wind-deposited sandstones are found in the southwestern part, which indicates it was much more arid, a desert with sand dunes. Stratigraphy. The Morrison Formation is subdivided into several members, the occurrence of which are varied across geographic extent of the Morrison. Members are in alphabetical order. The Bluff Sandstone member in Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah. Well sorted, light brown to white sandstone with large grains of components of chert. Interpreted as being deposited in an Aeolian setting at the edge of a dune field. Brushy Basin member, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah. Conglomerate interpreted with mudstone up to 50% by volume is made up of altered vitric ash, which originated as felsic ash falls. Deposition likely occurred in a fluvial lacustrine environment, with the lacustrine component tending towards playas, which is a dry lake bed. Okay, 50-mile member, only in Utah. Mainly present in the Kaiparot's Basin, consisting of interpreted sandstone and mudstone, with minimal conglomerate. Locally, it is the uppermost member and has contact with the Dakota Formation. Jackpile sandstone member in New Mexico. Primarily a whitish cross-bedded subarcose sandstone with a clay matrix. It is interbedded with vegetated pale green to red bentonatic mudstone lenses. However, recent detrital zircon geochronology results have suggested that the fluvial sandstone member is part of the Burrow Canyon Formation. A lot of big words. Ralston Creek member, only in Colorado. Formerly considered a separate formation and recently reclassified as the basal member of the Morrison in eastern Colorado. It appears analogous to the Tidwell and the Saltwash members. This reclassification is supported by more detailed examination of the contacts and radiometric dating. The Ralston Creek contains conglomerate, sandstone, gypsum, mudstone, gypsum, sandstone, mudstone facies. It is undetermined if the gypsum is of marine or lacustrine origin. Recapture member, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah. Forms the bottom of the Morrison across most of its range overlying the Andrada and Wanaka formations. Consists of clay sandstone and claystone, representing a fluvial setting, interbedded with purely aeolian sandstone facies. Hi Moonlight, how you doing, sweetheart? We're reading the Wikipedia article about the Morrison Formation. It's a very, very large fossil bed of Jurassic Age rock that spans like 5 states. I think more than 5. It also contains. Been working today. Well, I hope you're able to get some good rest, Moonlight. I hope you're able to get some good rest.
First job in over a year. Oh boy. Hope it went well.
It also contains a large, up to 19% of orthoclase feldspar inclusions. Saltwash member, Colorado and Utah. Composed of fluvial sandstone with occasional conglomeratic tendencies. What does that mean? Oh, conglomerate is a sedimentary. Oh.
So it's conglomeratic. Conglomerate is a sedimentary rock made up of rounded, gravel-sized pieces of rock surrounded by finer-grained sediments. The larger fragments within conglomerate are called clasts, while other finer sediments surrounding the clasts are called the matrix. Gotcha. Applied to. Yeah. Yep. Okay, give me one moment. I need to pull my nose real quick. When I worked retail, I did top stock, so I wasn't like really a customer facing as an employee. I mean, I was around them. My shift was from like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. I think it was 6 to 2. Or it might have been 5 to 2. Anyway. So made you a sign saying find someone else. I'm deaf. Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't recall anyone asking me like a really dumb question or like where a specific thing is. There was this really sweet old lady, just this really sweet little old lady who asked. I was doing top stock on the aisle facing the cereal, which was at the time was like granola bars and fruit snacks and stuff. And she's like, "Hey, my husband really likes the cereal. Do you know where it is? Do you have it?" It's like, "Oh, I knew we didn't." But I went up and down the aisle with her. I was like, "I don't think we have it. I'm sorry." And then like the next week or 2 weeks later, it was on the shelf. So I don't know if she like sent in like Walmart. It was like, "Hey, stock this cereal," or what. Well, at least you didn't get in trouble.
The Tidwell member, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah. In the northern part of the Colorado Plateau, it is the basal member of the Morrison, mainly composed of siltstone, shale, and sandstone, and occasionally incorporates limestone clasts, along with thin beds of limestone. Depositional environments range from mudflats to fluvial. Fluvial is like a flood. Something like that. Pauses when the homies I see. To evaporate and lacustrine. The Morrison as a whole resembles the Tidwell. I don't know if I'm saying that right, I'm so sorry. Ungpapa sandstone member, South Dakota. Occurs primarily in western South Dakota as a well-sorted, fine-grained sandstone, consisting primarily of quartz with some feldspar inclusions. Occasionally overlain by the Lakota Formation or the main body of the Morrison, and overlies the Redwater Shale member of the Sundance Formation. Occasionally referred to as a separate formation, chiefly within the Black Hills region. Westwater Canyon member, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah. Consists of sandstone interbedded with mudstone lenses, and the occasional conglomerate component, deposited in a braided stream environment. High in organic matter, the term Poison Canyon sandstone is informally applied to the upper sandstone sections of this member. The Westwater Canyon member is the main source of uranium ore in the Morrison, especially in the San Juan Basin. Windy Hill member, Colorado, South Dakota, Utah, and Wyoming. Formerly included as the upper member of the Sundance Formation, as, like the rest of Sundance, it was deposited in marine settings. However, it is separated by an unconformity in the interfingers with the Morrison, meriting the nomenclature shift. Composed of limey, fossiliferous sandstone, generally interpreted to be deposited in a marine setting. Other informal or discussed designations of the Morrison include the Stockett Bed in Montana, an unofficial subunit which contains as coal. The outdated terms Casimiro, Chavez, and Berwitt sandstone for the Brushy Basin recapture and West Water Canyon, respectively, and the Bullington member, which has been discarded entirely.
That was a very long section. Very long section. And the article includes pictures of some of the Morrison Formation members. Very cool. Very cool. Did you have something yummy to eat today, though, Moonlight? Sorry, my uncle texted me. One of my uncles sends me paleo art he finds on his Facebook feed that he really likes. Let's see. He sent me one of two hadrosaurs chasing off some asdarchids. It's a family of pterosaurs that includes like Quetzalcoatlus and stuff. And then an atrociraptor. Perched in a tree, a feathered atrociraptor spreads itself between danger and its three chicks below as an Albertosaurus approaches. The small predator stands its ground, proving that even against giants, a parent will fight. Sorry about that. Well, I'm glad you're home now, Moonlight. I'm glad you're home now. Hope you get some good rest. I do not miss working retail at all. I don't miss it. All right. I don't think I'm gonna whisper for this section. It's drying out my mouth. Fossil content. Though many of the Morrison Formation fossils are fragmentary, they are sufficient to provide a good picture of the flora and fauna in the Morrison Basin during the Cambrian. Overall, the climate was dry, similar to a savanna, but since there were no angiosperms, grasses, flowers, and some trees, the flora was quite different. Conifers, the dominant plants of the time, were to be found with ginkgos, cycads, tree ferns, and horsetail rushes. Much of the fossilized vegetation was riparian, living along the river floodplains. Along the rivers, there were fish, frogs, salamanders, lizards, crocodiles, turtles, pterosaurs, crayfish, clams, and mammaliforms. The dinosaurs were most likely riparian as well. Hundreds of dinosaur fossils have been discovered, such as Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Torvosaurus, Camptosaurus, Ornitholestes, several Stegosaurus, comprising at least two species of Stegosaurus, and the slightly older Hesperosaurus, and the early Ankylosaurs, Maimurapelta, and Gargoylosaurus. Most notably, a very broad range of sauropods, the giants of the Mesozoic era. Since at least some of these species were known to have nested in the area, Camptosaurus embryos have been discovered. There are indicators that it was a good environment for dinosaurs and not just home to migratory seasonal populations. However, The large body mass of the sauropods has been interpreted as an adaptation to migration in times of drought. Sauropods that have been discovered include Diplodocus, most famously the first nearly complete specimen of D. Carnegie, which is now exhibited at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Camarasaurus, the most commonly found sauropod, Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, Brontosaurus, Barosaurus, the uncommon Haplocanthosaurus, and Supersaurus. The very diversity of the sauropods has raised some questions about how they could all coexist. While their body shapes are very similar, long neck, long tail, huge elephant-like body, they are assumed to have had very different feeding strategies in order for all to have existed in the same time frame and similar environment. Sites and quarries. Locations for significant Morrison Formation fossil discoveries have been made include Colorado, Garden Park, Colorado, one of the three major sites excavated by the paleontologist Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope during the Bone Wars in 1877. Though most of the specimens were too incomplete to classify, nomina dubia. I guess that's what you label something when you can't identify what it is. During the 1877 to 78 field sessions, the first nearly complete skeletons of Stegosaurus, Ceratosaurus, and Allosaurus were discovered at the site, including the type specimens of the former two and the proposed neotype of Allosaurus fragilis. In the 1883 to 86 Yale find seasons. In 1992, a specimen of Stegosaurus stenops was discovered with its armor still in place, which confirmed that the dinosaur had 2 rows of plates on its back. Dry Mesa Quarry, Colorado, a wide variety of fauna as well as the most diverse set of dinosaurs from any Morrison Formation quarry. The first dig was in 1972 by researchers from Brigham Young University. Unique specimens include the longest dinosaur known, Supersaurus, the chimeric Ultrasauros. That sounds like a monster hunter monster. And the largest carnivore on the continent, Torvosaurus. Frutia Paleontological Resource Area, Badlands sites located south of Frutia, were actively worked by George Kellison from California State University and the Los Angeles County Museum of Natural History. Numerous specimens of mammals, lizards, and crocodiles were found. Most recently, Frutia fossor Windschaffelia. Some of these names, man. And the new dinosaur, Frutidens, were described from the area. I don't know how recent this was. So, Frutifossor Windschaffelia is a termite-eating mammal endemic to North America during the late Jurassic epoch, and Frutidens is a genus of heterodontosaurid dinosaur. The name means frutia teeth, in reference to Frutia, Colorado, where its fossils were first found. It is known from partial skulls and skeletons from at least 4 individuals of different biological ages. Okay. That doesn't tell me. So it's a heterodontosaurid. Yeah, looks like we just have a couple fragmentary pieces of it. And then Purgatoire River Track site, Ontario County. Oh, that's where the sauropod tracks are. And the mudstone, or whatever it's called. Utah. Cleveland Lloyd Dinosaur Quarry. First excavated by geologists from the University of Utah in the late 1920s, William Lee Stokes led an expedition from Princeton in 1939. During the Jurassic, the quarry was likely an ephemeral pond where dinosaurs gathered and died due to severe drought. The bodies were reworked by seasonal flooding events, which also added other partial carcasses from elsewhere. Allosaurus fragilis is by far the most common dinosaur at this site, making it a model organism for studies of paleobiology in basal theropods. The rare theropods, Stogosaurus and Marshosaurus specimens, were also first discovered here. The Dinosaur National Monument, first excavated by Earl Douglas working for the Carnegie Museum in 1909 with the purpose of finding sauropods from the Morrison Formation for public display. Monument also has fossilized dinosaurs from the Cedar Mountain Formation, and then the Hanksville Burpee Quarry, Hanksville, which I've never heard of. I've been to the Dinosaur National Monument. I went a couple years ago with my dad and my uncle, one of my uncles. It had been closed for most of my life for like renovations because there was like a fatal problem with the foundation of like the visitor center or the building that they built on top of some of the rock. I think it was a problem in the foundation. I don't know. So it was like closed just for most of my life. So I've only been once, but it's very cool. It's very cool. Hi CJ. I'm doing all right, sweetheart. How are you? We're reading the Wikipedia article for about the Morrison Formation. But yeah, if you ever get the chance to visit the Dinosaur National Monument, I recommend it. It's very cool. It's so cool. And then go to the Field Museum or the Field whatever. It's within driving distance. They're both within driving distance of each other. By the time we were done at the National Monument and got to the Field House or the Field Museum, whatever it's called, is in Uinta. If you have American Truck Simulator and you get the Utah DLC, you can go to Uinta or Vernal. Sorry, it's Vernal. Vernal is in Uinta County. There's a big pink concrete statue of a sauropod, and her name is Dinah. I have a plushie of her. So if you've been here for a while, you've probably seen her in some of the American Truck Simulator streams. Anyway, the Morrison Formation. We could just read the first paragraph again. Excuse me. Sorry. The Morrison Formation is a distinctive sequence of upper... I don't know if that's going to help, CJ, but it's a very large rock formation that is... it's Jurassic Age rock. I believe it's larger than Hill Creek, and Hill Creek is like T-Rex and Triceratops and stuff. And the Morrison Formation spans from like Wyoming into like the panhandle of Oklahoma and some of Texas. The panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. It is 600,000 square miles. Most of it buried under sediment and other things. Yeah, so it's like it's Jurassic rocks. So you'll find things like Allosaurus, and that's actually what we were reading. The section we're in is talking about. But you got stuff like Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Torvosaurus, Camptosaurus, Ornitholestes, a couple Stegosaurs, 2 early species of ankylosaurs, at least listed here. A bunch of sauropods, got Diplodocus, Camarasaurus, Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, Brontosaurus, Borosaurus, Haplocanthosaurus, and Supersaurus, which the article says is the longest dinosaur. Right? Yeah, the longest dinosaur known is Supersaurus. Let's see, how long is Supersaurus? How big is Supersaurus? Holy crap! That's a big boy. So the AI overview, whatever it's pulling from, it is 108 to 137 feet long. So it is longer from head to tail than a blue whale is. It's probably not nearly as heavy as a blue whale. That's still the blue whale's thing, is that it's the heaviest thing that's ever lived. The largest thing by mass, or whatever, to ever live so far that we know of is a blue whale. Yeah, so it's 108 to 131 feet in length, according to Wikipedia. So that's a very long guy. That is like 4 T-Rexes. How many buses is that? Its head is the size of a horse. Do they have an image of its skull? Not really. Not on the Wikipedia page, anyway. But man. Sorry. It's just so cool that things that large existed. And, you know, the water in this jug was probably, at some point, in the bladder of some dinosaur at some point in time. Maybe, maybe not. There's a ton of water. But, I don't know. I like to think so. Not that I like thinking that I'm drinking pee or anything, but it's just neat to me. You know, it's cool. Okay, so we okay. So now it says some of the fossil content in the Morrison in Wyoming. Oh, we're almost done with the article. I guess we can read about Supersaurus then. There's a couple ones that sounded cool, like Ultrasaurus, Frutidens, some of these ankylosaurs, Mimu Rapelta, and Gargoylosaurus. Okay. Then we have Wyoming, Bone Cabin Quarry. Wyoming is a dinosaur quarry that lay approximately 55 miles or 89 kilometers northwest of Laramie, Wyoming, near historic Como Bluff. During the summer of 1897, Walter Granger, a paleontologist from the American Museum of Natural History, came upon hillside later with Jurassic period dinosaur. Okay. Como Bluff, Wyoming, one of the most renowned fossil sites in North America. It was first worked by Cope and particularly Marsh in 1877 and has been the source of many different sauropods and non-dinosaur species. The Cloverleaf Formation from the Cretaceous and some Triassic strata are also exposed at this location. Excuse me, sorry. The Wyoming Dinosaur Center in Thermopylae and Ten Sleep, including Dana Quarry, from where at least 12 sauropods and theropods are recovered. Wow. And in Montana, we've got the Mother's Day Quarry in Carbon County. Economic geology. The Morrison Formation contains uranium deposits, including the Jack Pile uranium body discovered near Grants, New Mexico in 1951. The ore deposits in the rich Grants mineral belt are concentrated in sandstone beds of the Westwater Canyon member and the Jack Pile member. Mines in this belt produced 340 million pounds or 150 million kilograms of U3O8, which is triuranium. Between 1948 and 2002, the uranium was precipitated by plant debris and humate that acted as reducing agents. Okay. So should we read about Supersaurus? Supersaurus sounds like fun. Articles about the same length. Supersaurus, meaning super lizard, is a genus of diplodocid sauropod dinosaur that lived in North America during the late Jurassic period. The type species S. vivianae was first discovered by Vivian Jones of Delta, Colorado in the Middle Morrison Formation of Colorado in 1972. The fossil remains came from the Brushy Basin member of the formation, dating between 153 and 145 million years ago. It is among the longest dinosaurs ever discovered, with the 3 known specimens reaching 33 to 40 meters, or 108 to 131 feet in length, with the largest individual possibly exceeding 40 meters, or 130 feet, in size. Mass estimates for the WDC and BYU specimens tend to be around 35 to 44 metric tons, or 39 to 49 short tons in body mass. A potential second species, S. laurenhinensis denhyrosaurus, is known from Portugal and has been dated to a similar time. Discovery. Supersaurus is present in stratigraphic zone 5 of the Morrison, dating from the Tithonian. The original fossil remains of Supersaurus were discovered in the Dry Mesa Quarry in 1972. This find yielded only a few bones, mainly the shoulder girdle and ischium, which is a paired bone forming the lower and back part of the hip bone. Okay, and tail vertebrae. Paleontologist James A. Jensen described Supersaurus. He designated the scapulocoracoid BYU 9025, originally labeled as BYU 5500, as the type specimen. The shoulder girdle stood some 2.4 meters, or 7.9 feet tall, if placed on end. That's very tall. That's a very tall shoulder girdle. Very big bone. The specimen that was given the name Supersaurus informally as early as 1973, the specimen was given the name Supersaurus informally as early as 1973, but was not officially described and named until more than a decade later in 1985. The sauropod researcher Jack McIntosh at one time thought that the BYU Supersaurus material might represent a large species of Barosaurus, but later felt that there was more evidence for Supersaurus being a valid genus. A much more complete specimen, WDC DMJ-021, was found in Converse County, Wyoming in 1986 by Brandon Flair and Bart Lesko while out hiking, and was reported to the people who owned the land at the time. The discoverers later named Jimbo in 1996 by the family that purchased the land. It was described and assigned to Supersaurus in 2007. The specimen represented approximately 30% of the skeleton. That's not too bad, actually. That's a lot of bone. Its bones are being held at the Wyoming Dinosaur Center. A comparison of WDC DMJ-021 and other specimens previously assigned to Supersaurus was done in order to help decide what material from the dry mesa quarry belonged to the genus. It indicated that a series of tail vertebrae and an ulna may have belonged to some other diplodocid. Ultrasauros. Jensen, who described the original Supersaurus specimen, simultaneously reported the discovery of another gigantic sauropod, which would later be named Ultrasaurus. Ultrasaurus macintoschi. Macintoschi? Later renamed Ultrasaurus macintoschi. The type specimen, the specimen used to define a new species of Ultrasaurus, being a backbone dorsal vertebra labeled BYU 9044, was later found to have come from Supersaurus. In fact, it probably belonged to the original Supersaurus specimen, which was discovered in the same quarry in 1972. Therefore, Ultrasauros became a junior synonym of Supersaurus, which had been named first and thus retains priority, and the name Ultrasauros was abandoned. Other bones that were found at the same location and originally thought to belong to Ultrasauros, like a shoulder girdle, scapulocoracoid, a shoulder girdle, which is a scapulocoracoid, BYU 9462, actually belonged to Brachiosaurus, possibly a large specimen of Brachiosaurus Alterothorax. The Brachiosaurus bones indicate a large but not record-breaking individual, a little larger than the Brachiosaurus branchi, Giraffatitan branchi, mount in the Berlin's National History Museum. Originally, the Supersaurus and Brachiosaurus bones were believed to represent a single dinosaur that was estimated to reach about 25 to 30 meters, or 82 to 98 feet long. 8 meters or 26 feet high at the shoulder, 15 meters or 49 feet in total height, and weighing maybe 7 tons or 77 short tons. At the time, mass estimations ranged up to 180 tons, which placed it in the same category as the blue whale and the equally problematic Bruhathcasaurus. Bruhathcasaurus. What is that? Why is it problematic? Because it's dubious if it's its own species. The naming of the chimeric Ultrasauros has a similarly complicated history. Ultrasaurus, with the final U, was the original choice, and was widely used by the media after this discovery in 1979. However, the name of a new species must be published with a description to become official. Before Jim Jensen published his discovery in 1985, another paleontologist, Jim Hang-mook, used the name Ultrasaurus in a 1983 publication to describe what he believed was a giant dinosaur in South Korea. This was a different, much smaller dinosaur than Jensen's find, but Kim thought it represented a similar gigantic animal because he confused a humerus for an ulna. The logic of naming was incorrect. The Ultrasaurus from Kim's find fulfilled the requirements for naming and became regarded as a legitimate, if dubious, genus. Thus, because Jensen did not publish his own Ultrasaurus find until 1985, Kim's use retained its official priority of name, and Jensen was forced to choose a new name. In technical terms, his original choice was preoccupied by Kim's sauropod. In 1991, at his suggestion, George Olszewski changed one letter and renamed Jensen sauropod Ultrasauros with the final O. When it was later discovered that the new name referred to bones from two separate and already known species, the name Ultrasaurus was considered invalid and became a junior synonym for Supersaurus. Since the holotype of the Ultrasaurus was a dorsal vertebrae of the Supersaurus, so Ultrasaurus is not a junior synonym for Brachiosaurus. The name Supersaurus was kept instead of Ultrasaurus, as the animal is a diplodocid, and Ultrasaurus had always referred to a brachiosaurid. Additional synonyms. Another diplodocid dinosaur found near the original Supersaurus quarry, known from a backbone or dorsal vertebra type specimen BYU 5750, was named Dystylosaurus edwini and is now also considered to be a specimen of Supersaurus vivinae. Hence, Dystylosaurus has also become a junior synonym of Supersaurus. Okay, now we're getting to the description. There's a lot of name shenanigans going on here with this guy, this animal. I don't know if it's as like dramatic as Brontosaurus, but it's quite something. Supersaurus is among the largest dinosaurs known from good remains and quite possibly the longest discovered thus far, with the WDC specimen reaching 33 to 36 meters or 108 to 118 feet in length, the BYU specimen reaching perhaps 39 meters, 128 feet, and a third specimen potentially exceeding 40 meters, 130 feet in size. The WDC and BYU specimens are estimated to have weighed 35 to 44 metric tons, or 39 to 49 short tons in body mass. A study in 2024 also found the Jimbo specimen to be skeletally mature at the time of its death and among the oldest known dinosaurs. While the result obtained was 225 years, the study strongly states that a value this high is extremely unlikely and more reflects the limitations of the methodology in calculating the age of exceptionally old individuals. The same study found the age of a 33 meters or 108-foot Diplodocus halorum to be 60 years old, which makes it among the oldest known dinosaurs too, but considered the age of Jimbo to be even greater due to the extensive remodeling of the bone. In fact, the study suggests Jimbo was so old that its exact age cannot be reliably calculated by the applied methodology. Thus, despite the lack of a truly reliable age value, the Jimbo specimen of Supersaurus can be considered as possibly the oldest dinosaur known thus far. The study also suggests that, due to Jimbo's skeletal maturity, the size range displayed by the three known Supersaurus specimens, which ranges from 33 to 40 meters, 108 to 131 feet, can be considered an average adult size for the species. That gave me goosebumps. Jimbo's old. Jimbo's so old. 225 years? Maybe. Goodness. Because, like, tortoises and things like whale sharks and other species of fish and sharks live longer than that. But I don't know. That's really cool. The first described specimens of Supersaurus were individual bones that suggested a large diplodocid. A large cervical vertebrae, BYU 9024, from the same quarry was later assigned to Supersaurus. This vertebra measures 1.38 meters, or 4.5 feet in length, and is the longest cervical known. This enormous vertebra was reclassified as a Barosaurus vertebra by Mike Taylor and Matt Waddell. However, Brian Curtis has reassigned it to Supersaurus on the basis of additional specimens. Michael Benton also agreed with the reclassification, giving the Supersaurus BYU 9024 specimen an approximate length of up to an impressive 50 meters, 160 feet, which would make it the longest animal to ever live. The assignment of the more complete specimen WDC-DMJ-021 to Supersaurus suggests that in most respects it was very similar in anatomy to Apatosaurus, but less robustly built, with especially elongated cervical vertebrae, resulting in one of the longest known sauropod necks. Oh, there's a skeleton of him in the Museum of Ancient Life? I've been there a handful of times, mostly when I was little. I wonder if that's new. I don't know. I haven't been in quite some time. Last time I went was when my uncle came up to visit for like Thanksgiving or around that time or in the summer. And we went because he had never been to this particular museum. And they had like changed a couple things, and like a lot of the dioramas with like models of animals and stuff really desperately needed some dusting. Oh my goodness. But I think I might remember. I didn't know it was a Supersaurus. That's pretty cool. Most studies of diplodocid relationships have found it to contain two primary subgroups. Diplodocinae containing those diplodocids more closely related to Diplodocus than to Apatosaurus, and Apatosaurinae, diplodocids more closely related to Apatosaurus than to Diplodocus. Originally, it was thought that Supersaurus was related to the long-necked diplodocid Barosaurus, and therefore a member of the subfamily Diplodocinae. However, with the assignment of the more complete WDC-DMJ-021, most later studies found Supersaurus to be a close relative of the familiar Apatosaurus in the group Apatosaurinae. However, some relationships published by Whitlock in 2011 found Apatosaurus itself to lie at the base of the diplodocid family tree, and other apatosaurines, including Supersaurus, to be progressively more closely related to Diplodocus, making them diplodocines. Wow. Okay. In 2015, a specimen-level phylogenetic study of diplodocids found that Dinhyrosaurus laurenhanensis grouped with Supersaurus. The study considered that it should be a new species of Supersaurus in a new combination S. laurenhanensis. And that's it. After that's the phylogenetic chart. Sorry, goodness. That one was fun. So Jimbo, who is in a Wyoming museum, Wyoming Dinosaur Center, is probably the oldest dinosaur ever studied. Oldest individual dinosaur, right? At 225. Because I looked at a Diplodocus. Was it Diplodocus? And Apatosaurus? A Diplodocus halorum. To be 60 years old, which also makes it one of the oldest known individuals known. But man, 225. So it's so old that the meter just like snapped, like right in like those memes, or like I don't know, when the cartoons or whatever, when they like step on the gas pedal and the speedometer breaks or whatever. It just broke the scale. It's so old. Goodness. Well, that was cool. That was neat. But yeah, if you guys have any trigger requests, please feel free to redeem them. I feel bad that I was just reading, but it's fun. Alright, give me one moment. I just need to blow my nose real quick. I will be right back. Anyway, man, 131 feet? What did it say the biggest one? Yeah, 131. Possible? A range of 108 to 131 feet long. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Let's see. There was one of those Mimuraptella. Repelta. Mimurapelta. It's a nodosaur. Is Gargoylosaurus. I commented about Gargoylosaurus. Let's see. How long is this article? Not very long at all. We could probably read about both of them. Gargoylosaurus, meaning gargoyle lizard, is one of the earliest ankylosaurs known from reasonably complete fossil remains. The holotype was discovered in 1995 at the Bowden Cabin Quarry West locality in Albany County, Wyoming, in exposures of the Upper Jurassic, Cambrian to Tithonian stages of the Morrison Formation. Excuse me. The type species, G. parkinorum, hiccup, sorry. Originally G. parkpini, was described by Ken Carpenter et al. In 1998. A mounted skeletal reconstruction of Gargoylosaurus parkpinorum can be seen at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and alongside a couple skeletons of baby Stegosaurus, has been on display there since around 2002. Gargoylosaurus was present in stratigraphic zone 2 of the Morrison Formation. Discovery. The holotype specimen of Gargoylosaurus parkpinorum was collected by Western Paleontology Labs in 1995 and is currently held in the collections of the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, Denver, Colorado. Besides the holotype, 2 other partial skeletons are known, although not yet described. The holotype consists of most of the skull and a partial postcranial skeleton. The specimen was originally described as Gargoylosaurus parkpini by Carpenter, Miles, and Cloward in 1998, then renamed G. parkpinorum by Carpenter et al. In 2001 in accordance with ICZN Art, Article 31.1.2a. ICZN is the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. Okay, interesting. Description. Gargoylosaurus was a relatively small ankylosaur, reaching 3 to 3.5 meters, or 9.8 to 11.5 feet in length, and 300 to 754 kilograms, or 661 to 1,662 pounds in body mass. Much of the skull and skeleton has been recovered, and the taxon displays cranial sculpturing, including pronounced deltoid quadratojugal and squamosal bosses. The taxon is further characterized by a narrow rostrum in dorsal view, the presence of several conical teeth in each premaxilla, an incomplete osseous nasal septum, and a linearly arranged nasal cavity. The absence of an osseous secondary plate, and as regards to osteoderms, 2 sets of co-ossified cervical plates, and a number of elongate conical spines. A very unusual feature is the sagittal midline osteoderm on this first set of cervical plates. In most other ankylosaurs, these osteoderms are bilateral, i.e. paired with one on each side of the midline. And this one, it's not. Okay. It doesn't say what, it just says the regular ones, or most ankylosaurs osteoderms of these osteoderms are bilateral. Are these ones not? Did I not read that right? I don't know. Osteoderm, so it's just one osteoderm. Okay. Classification. Vicarius et al. 2004 plays Gargoylosaurus parcipinorum within the family Ankylosauridae of the Ankylosauria, and are in agreement with most previous phylogenetic hypotheses, which place the genus as the sister group to all other ankylosaurids, i.e. members of the Ankylosauridae. These studies, however, only utilized the skull, whereas many of the distinctive features of the family Polycanthidae are in the postcranial skeleton. In contrast, a phylogenetic analysis by Soto Acuna, I think I said that right, and colleagues in 2021 recovered Gargoylosaurus as a nodosaurid. Below is a reproduced phylogenetic analysis from Soto Acuna et al. 2021. Very cool. Very cool. So that was Gargoylosaurus. What's Mimu repelta? What's that one? This article's a little longer. It's like 3 times the length of the other one. Hi, Cookie. We're just reading some Wikipedia about dinosaurs today because I want to. We're reading about some. We read the article about the Morrison Formation, then read the article for Supersaurus and Gargoylosaurus, which is an early ankylosaur. Supersaurus is probably the longest animal to ever live. Maybe. It's 108 feet to the adults probably range from 101 or 108 feet to 131 feet, something like that. And there's a specimen in a Wyoming museum nicknamed Jimbo, and they did a study of Jimbo to determine how old Jimbo is, and the methodology they used may not have been adequate, and it's the methodology they used came out said that Jimbo, the individual Jimbo, is 225 years old at the time of his death, or her death. Sexing dinosaurs is pretty hard. And then the same study also determined the age of a Diplodocus, and that individual was 60 years old, which also makes that Diplodocus one of the oldest known individual dinosaurs ever recovered. So, at minimum, Jimbo is older than 60. Was older than 60 years old when he died. Probably older than that. Much older than 60. But yeah, I didn't know that. And that's pretty cool. That's some nice trivia, right? Anyway. I hope you had a good week, Cookie. It is Friday. I did remember to post slides on Twitter and Blue Sky today. So if you guys are at all interested in that and you haven't seen them yet, they're up there now. All right. So we're going to read the article for Maimu Rapelta. Maimu? It's MYMOOA. Not A. MYMOORAPELTA. I'm just gonna say Maimu. I'm gonna say Maimu. Maimu Rapelta, meaning shield from the Mygot Moor quarry. Oh, that's Maimu. Okay. Yeah, it's Maimu. Maimole? More? So is it Maimora Pelta? Maimora Pelta? Or is it Maimu Rapelta? Maimora Pelta? Maimora Pelta? Maimora Pelta. Maimora Pelta. After a combination of these names of the discoverers of the Mygat Moor quarry that fossils were originally collected from, and the Greek word, I don't know how to read that, meaning shield. It is a nodosaurid and chylosaur from the late Jurassic, the Kimmeridgian Tithonian, around 155 to 150 million years ago. From the Morrison Formation, bushy basin member of western Colorado and central Utah, USA. The animal is known from a single species, Mimora pelta masai, and few specimens are known. The most complete specimens is the holotype individual from the Mygat Moor quarry, which includes osteoderms, a partial skull, vertebrae, and other bones. It was initially described by James Kirkland and Kenneth Carpenter in 1994, along with Gargoylosaurus. It is one of the earliest known nodosaurids. Mimora pelta is one of the smaller known nodosaurids, with an estimated length of the target largest specimen, only reaching 3 meters, or 9.8 feet. It had a narrow snout and almost triangular skull in dorsal view, with 2 large horns pointing backwards from the brow and 2 horns below these that pointed backwards and down on the jugal. 5 different armor types have been observed in Mimora pelta, ranging from elongated sharp spines on the side of the body to a giant sacral shield composed of tiny osteoderms called ossicles that cover the top of the pelvis. In contrast to the club-tailed ankylosaurids, the tail bore spikes that Mimora pelta likely used for defense. Mimora pelta was a low browser in the Morrison ecosystem, feeding on cycads and conifers, in contrast to the high-browsing Apatosaurus known from the same quarries. Other dinosaur groups were also present, including the large theropods Allosaurus and Ceratosaurus, and possibly the Ornithischian Nanosaurus. Both of the theropods have also been found in association with the animal, and we have evidence that the former preyed on Mimora pelta. Discovery and naming. Original discovery. The Mygat Moor quarry was first discovered in March 1981 by hikers J.D. and Vanetta Moore and Pete Marilyn Mygat in Mesa County, west central Colorado. The quarry strata come from the brushy basin member of the Morrison Formation, which dates to the Upper Jurassic. Fossils of Maimoropelta were first discovered in the quarry in 1990, and since then over 160 elements have been found scattered over 25 meters, or 27 yards, of the 150 square meter, or 1,600 square foot quarry. A few of these elements are part of a single adult individual and were described by American paleontologists James Kirkland and Kenneth Carpenter in 1994. The specimen MWC 1815 would be designated the holotype of the species and includes a left ilium or hip bone with preserved bite marks. Kirkland and Carpenter named the species Maimoropelta masai, a generic name deriving from the names of Marilyn Mygat and the Moors, who had discovered the quarry, and the Greek root pelta, meaning shield. Due to the preserved armor, the specific name is after Chris Mays, the president of the Dynamation International Corporation and Society, who funded the initial excavation of the Mygat Moor quarry. Maimoropelta was the first Jurassic ankylosaur named from North America, with the closely related Gargoylosaurus being named 4 years later in 1998. Other parts of the type specimen that were excavated from the quarry include several dorsal or back and caudal or tail vertebrae, ribs, isolated limb bones, and many osteoderms, including the signature triangular cervical spine of basal ankylosaurs. Some osteoderms, which have been found in the quarry and referred to Maimoropelta, came from a higher stratigraphic layer, suggesting that a second individual is preserved. Later finds. In 1998, a partial skeleton referred to Maimoropelta was described by Kirkland et al. From Cactus Park, Colorado, though at the time the fossil was still undergoing fossil preparation. The skeleton preserved natural molds and body fossils of the sacrum, caudal vertebrae, chevrons, bones attached to the underside of the tail vertebrae in dinosaurs, pes, or foot, and many pieces of the dermal armor, including parts of the sacral shield, which was a type of armor that would cover the top of the pelvis. Though skull material was mentioned to be preserved, it is still in preparation and undescribed. I don't know if that's accurate now. Some of the material, namely from the pes and sacral shield, was preserved in articulation, making it the only known articulated specimen of the taxon. In a 2010 abstract, Kirkland and colleagues mentioned the discovery of many more elements of Maimoropelta at Mygat Moor quarry, including a nearly complete skull and every post-cranial element except the pubis and femur. All of the fossils found at Mygat Moor quarry and Cactus Park are currently deposited in the Dinosaur Journey Museum of Western Colorado in Frutia. 2015 saw the preservation of an abstract by Katie Termine et al. That mentions a new Maimoropelta specimen unearthed at Hanksville Burpee Quarry near Hanksville, Utah. The specimen includes one individual preserving 24 osteoderms, 3 ribs, 1 vertebra, and a femur, though more material has yet to be excavated. The discovery of a single dorsal osteoderm that had been collected from the Peterson Quarry outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, was described in 2016. The osteoderm is morphologically based on external anatomy similar to Maimoropelta. However, it is stratigraphically based on rock layers closer to Gargoylosaurus. Goodness. There's a lot of read in my mouth, so dry. Sorry. Mimora pelta is one of the smallest ankylosaurs known and the smallest known quadrupedal dinosaur from the Morrison Formation. However, few individuals have been found and only a portion of the known material has been described in detail. The Cactus Park specimen is the largest described individual, with its length being estimated at 3 meters, or 9.8 feet long, in 1998. Sorry, burp. Body mass estimates based on the type specimen give a weight of around 300 to 562 kilograms, or 661 to 1,239 pounds. Skull and dentition. The skull specifically has not been described in detail, but the preserved morphology, external anatomy, is very similar to that of Gargoylosaurus, which also hails from the Morrison Formation. It had a narrow snout and almost triangular-shaped skull in dorsal or top view, with 2 large horns pointing backwards from the back of the brow, and 2 horns below these that pointed backwards and down from the jugal or cheekbone. A preserved jugal described in 1998 has a wedge-shaped armored morphology that projects ventrolaterally down and outwards, like in ankylosaurids. The premaxillae, bones at the tip of the snout, probably possessed a narrow-toothed and trapezoidal muzzle like in Gargoylosaurus. In the back of the skull, the quadrate articular area, place of contact between the skull and the lower jaw, faces slightly medially toward the midline of the body, and is subtly lengthened as anteroposteriorly, front to back. The distal surface of the quadrate, especially on the medial condyle, is robust and elongated anteroposteriorly. In all ankylosaurs, the jaw joint connecting the skull to the jawbone, is placed ventrally to the occlusal plane, which is the contact surface between teeth. The coronoid process, bony projection on the lower jaw, is very well developed in nodosaurids, and the jaw joint is well depressed in turn, which corresponds to a higher relative bite force. Sorry, my brother pinged me. Most ankylosaurs have heterodont dentition, variation in tooth morphology, but not in Gargoylosaurus, which shows only subtle morphological differences in the premaxillary, maxillary, and dentary teeth. Ankylosaur teeth are compressed labiolingually and are filiform or leaf-shaped, with an apical cusp and secondary cusps along the mesial and distal edges. Nodosaurid teeth are blade-like, larger, and usually more complex than the basic cusps of ankylosaurids, having a larger crown, a rough enamel surface, confluent, fluting, with grooves of the marginal cusps, and a crenellated cingulum, shelf-like bulge surrounding the base of a tooth crown. The wear facets on ankylosaur teeth vary greatly, but in nodosaurids, they are usually more extensive and steeply inclined than in ankylosaurids, demonstrating underlying patterns of shape-constrained function. In early nodosaurids like Gargoylosaurus and Gastonia, the pterygoid, a dermal paired bone of the palate, is not yet well developed anteroposteriorly and mediolaterally. But in later species, they are much wider, with more robust lateral wings, and they are more expanded anteroposteriorly than in basal forms, reaching the level of the distal quadrate condyles. This suggests more developed pterygoid muscles in later nodosaurids than in ankylosaurids, reflecting a more efficient jaw adductor system in nodosaurids. The mandibular adductor chamber and the coronoid process are generally taller in nodosaurids than in ankylosaurs, suggesting differences in size and attachment of muscles. Holy crap, that was that was the hardest one so far. So many big words I've never heard before. Sheesh. That was just the cranium, the skull. Goodness. Sheesh. We are coming up on 2 hours though, so if there are any other trigger requests or smoocher names or anything, please get those in before it gets too late, so I can get those to you. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till Sunday. Anyway, sorry, I don't know if this was a very good ASMR stream, just reading Wikipedia, but you guys seem to like it when I do that, at least the little ASMR videos I do every Sunday. The ones where I read Wikipedia do pretty well, numbers wise, anyway. Okay. So this next section is about the postcranial skeleton. I don't know if we're gonna get through this article tonight. I don't know. I don't think we are. It's very long, and there's lots of words. Lots and lots of long words. Maybe we finish Mimorapelta. Sorry. Mimorapelta? Mimorapelta. And maybe we'll finish that later. I think I need a break. Goodness. Sorry. Shall we see who's live? Who do we got to read this this evening? Pesca Panda. Someone who I'm following that seems to have changed their name. Ember Star. That seems to be it. Oh, Grimoire Index is still live. We'll see if we can return the raid favor. We'll see. Are you guys playing the new Tomodachi Life game? It seems really fun. My brother bought a Switch 2 a couple months ago. And yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday. He let my sister play it, so I watched her play it for a couple hours. Excuse me. Sorry. And my sister's first me was based on one of her plush horses or horse plushies. It's a paint from the Dandy brand. 2 words, Dandy. D being DEE. I don't know if Dandy is like a really popular brand or not. I don't know if they still make plushies, but that's where Dandy. It's the horse's name is Dandy. This was the name on the tag. So my sister made a horse me, and then the next 2 me's that she made were based on her hamsters. She spent like probably 10 to 15 minutes painting the faces of both. Very cute. It's really cool that you can do that, do the face paint stuff. Because I remember there was a ton of me's for like Metopia on the 3DS that were like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And now you can just paint whatever you want on the me's face. That's pretty neat. That's really cool. So anyway, the game seems like lots of fun. I've been watching Nimi Nightmares streams of it. I watched the 2-hour VOD yesterday of Wednesday nights, her Wednesday evening stream, and then I watched her stream last night or yesterday, and then I watched some of it today. I guess I'll have to go back and finish the VOD. It looks like so much fun. It looks like a ton of fun. I completely forgot they did a Metopia 2 or like a re-release of Metopia on the Switch. With like more features, like there's a horse and stuff. I never finished Metopia. I think I got pretty close, pretty far into the game, and then stopped playing it like everybody does with RPGs, and then I started over. But now that the Nintendo 3DS eShop and stuff are shut down, I wonder if you can still like go online to like look at a bunch of Mii's for your Metopia game. I wonder how that works now. Or if you have to use, I think you have to use native Mii's on your system. When I was really little, when we first got our Wii, we connected it to the internet, and I think there was like a feature to get like Mii's from like nearby Wii's or something. I don't know exactly. But we got 2 Mii's from the internet that were somebody else made, and they followed me to my 3DS anyway, because you could connect them the 3DS to the Wii or something. The Mii plot, I don't remember. I don't remember how it worked, or if it still works. But we got 2. We got a Mii based on Albert Einstein and one based on Mr. T, named T-Man. So I grew up calling Mr. T T-Man, and my dad was like, no, it's not T-Man, it's Mr. T. But to make Mr. T, they took the eyebrows and like had them on their ends touching each other to look like a T or a mohawk, I guess. I don't know who made those Mii's, or if they're just like baked in, like you turn on that option on the Wii plot on the Wii thing, and that you just get Mr. T and Einstein. I don't know. Actually, I could go get my 3DS and we can. No. We already do that, but yeah. Okay. Oh, so apparently, I don't know if this is new or recent, but apparently you can get like $100 loot boxes from Crunchyroll or from their shop. You just like give them $100 and then they send you a box with stuff in it. Um, Seems like you get like one plushie, a couple volumes of manga, maybe a little figure, and then a plushie, and maybe an Nendoroid. I don't actually know. I don't have any Nendoroids. I did watch Crunchyroll's like 34-minute documentary about Nendoroids. They seem very passionate, and it's very cool. But like, I don't know if I got an Nendoroid, what the Nendoroid, what character it would be. There's probably like an Albedo Nendoroid out there, right? Maybe. I bet there is. Let's see. Yep. Well, there's a couple. So one in her purple dress with Nagungigap or whatever. Her staff stave or whatever wand made of a dark unicorn horn with the floating orb, and then one in her usual outfit. People are asking for like $40 to $60 for one. It's a little too much for me. I could use that money and get all the companion outfits for Monster Hunter Stories 3 instead and have money left over. There's Kirby Nendoroids. There's a my dress up darling of Marin and her Liz cosplay. That's pretty cute. That's pretty. Oh, there's a Hollow Knight Nendoroid. Silk Song Nendoroid. There's a Nendoroid above everybody. Like, maybe I just don't watch enough, like, shonen and things. Like, I don't know anyone from Jujutsu Kaisen and Fate. The only Fate anime I've watched is the slice of life one where like it's about cooking food. Because I only started watching it because it looked cozy, and uh, and then there's like, huh? Or what? They have powers? I didn't. I don't think I ever finished it. Let's see. Okay. The My Dress Up Darling Nendoroids are pretty cute. They're pretty cute. There's Marin in her swimsuit. And a couple outfits. I don't know. So, um, a couple years ago, uh, when I was after I gotten myself into anime. Sorry, my throat's a little scratchy. Because I talked for like an hour straight. More than an hour. I'm still talking. But I decided I wanted to try. I wanted an anime figure because they're cool, right? But I decided that I'd only want a figure of a character from a show that I really liked. And I don't know if I could get away with like an Albedo figure in my room. Not that all, probably there's not. I mean, the Albedo Nendoroids aren't like lewd, but there's a bunch of Albedo figures, right? Holy moly! Sorry, I'm just scrolling and she's there in a bunny suit. Okay. Anyway, um, uh, and hi Phobos, you're cute. Thigh drums. Okay, I'm wearing some fleece pajamas with wolves on them. But here we go. So I had settled on because around this time I think I had just watched or recently watched. I don't think it's like fleece, but it's like those pajama pants you get around Christmas time. I'm pretty sure I got these for Christmas. It's just like the warm, kind of fuzzy like fabric. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's warm. I've been good for both. I've been good. It actually snowed yesterday. Or, yeah, today's Friday. It snowed yesterday. And there's a weather warning for freezing tonight, or it was over. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's nuts. It snowed, and it's actually really cold today. But I just finished a watch through, my first watch through of Angel Beats, I believe, or you know, Angel Beats was fresh enough that I was like, this is one of my favorite shows. And on a rewatch, I think Angel Beats is still like good, but it's not like that good. On a rewatch, I watched it a second time with my partner, and I didn't cry at all. So probably because I knew it was happening, or knew it was gonna happen. Maybe, but I was like, this isn't as good as I remember while watching it with her. So, um, anyway, my only anime figure is of Angel. Like scenes that you can cry once and cry again later. Yeah. Angel Beats is good. Like it's still one of my favorites. I'd have to sit down and like think about what was on my top 5. But anyway, so I got like I think it was a Crane Game Prize figure of Angel, where she's like sitting and she has wings. I don't know if it's a bootleg. I don't know if it was. I paid like $40 for it in 2021. So 2022. It was my birthday gift for myself. Things you liked that made you cry and made you cry again on a later watch. I haven't rewatched anything lately. But if I rewatched it, The Water Horse would probably make me cry, and probably E.T. The Christopher Robin movie that they made in like 2017. Might be older than that. Anything having to do with Winnie the Pooh, probably. Yeah. I was really young when I first watched E.T. I don't remember watching E.T. All I know is that I apparently cried really hard. Oh, someone ringing the doorbell at almost 10 p.m. It's probably Amazon or my dad. And he locked himself out. I don't know. Hi, Gunther. It's not too late. Let's see. No, we got some time. We probably have time for one more redeem. I did a lot of reading, Wikipedia reading today. So, anyway, yeah, movies like that. The Water Horse, E.T., Christopher Robin. Like the teaser trailer or whatever for the Christopher Robin movie dropped, and it made me ugly cry when I watched it. I bawled. I cried so hard. Like the scene where Christopher goes to the park because he's like exasperated or whatever, like he's just exhausted, and he goes and sits down on the bench, and then there's a tree behind him, and then you just hear Pooh's voice, and he says Christopher Robin, and then I just started immediately crying. I just started ugly crying immediately. I remember really liking the movie. I don't know if it was like a commercial success or anything. No, I did. For Pooh, yeah. For Pooh Bear, I ugly cried. I bawled. For sure. Let's see. Stuff for Robin. It was 2018? It was 2018. It was a 73% Rotten Tomatoes. I guess that makes sense. Was it a financial success? Box office. Total worldwide gross of $197.7 million. Is that a success? I don't know. What was its budget? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I'll probably say here. Budget was 65 to 70 million dollars. So it made money. It said was released alongside The Spy Who Dumped Me, The Darkest Minds, Death of a Nation, Can We Save America a Second Time? Okay. And Mission Impossible Fallout. I know none. Oh, and The Meg. The Meg's the only one I know, and I haven't seen any of those. Yeah, it finishing second at the box office behind Mission Impossible Fallout. I finished third behind The Meg and Mission Impossible. And then finished sixth in its last week in theaters. Yeah, and it made like triple its budget or something. So yeah, Marvel things maybe. I don't remember what it. I didn't actually read what date it came out, but I'm sorry, Gunther. I see you. I got distracted. We talked about crying. Thank you for the water flip. Wooly, thank you for the raid, sweetheart. Thank you. Oops, not raid. There we go. Please go follow Wooly if you're not following Wooly already. Wooly's very sweet. They have a really cute voice. Please give Wooly lots of love. Wooly plays, I believe, Souls-likes and things of that nature and other things. I'm doing good. We read lots of Wikipedia articles today. We read the Wikipedia article for the Morrison Formation and Supersaurus and Gargoylosaurus and Mimora pelta, which is like actually a really long article, so we didn't finish that one. But please go follow Wooly. Please. Wooly's very sweet. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome. If you don't know me, I'm Ketchup the Bear, your local Teddy variety streamer. I do ASMR like this every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and we do handcam ASMR on Sundays, and the rest of the week we play games. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we've been playing Grand Blue. Probably just gonna go back to playing Grand Blue on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, we play Monster Hunter Rise with Eri, if Eri's available. And on Saturdays, we're playing through Monster Hunter Stories 3, and I am having a blast with the game. So that's what we're doing tomorrow night, and I'm very excited. We probably won't be live too much longer. I need to get through these redeems, and then we will probably be raiding out. But thank you for coming with the raid, Raiders. Thank you. I appreciate it lots. And if you enjoy the content, please consider giving us a follow. It would mean a lot. And please go follow Wooly. Wooly deserves it. Wooly's very sweet. And if you need more of my ASMR content, I would recommend you watch the VODs on YouTube. Same name over there. It's just that channel's just a repository for VODs, and then I record a little like 10 to 15 minute video, ASMR video, after streams on Sundays. So that's all that's there. We're not monetized over there. There's no ads. If you get ads on the VODs on YouTube, that's YouTube just putting ads on things. I don't even get to control the placement. So yeah. Hi, Ari. Yep. No more headache. At least not today. People do like the finger taps. Hi, Floop. Okay. So we need to get Gunther his good boy, and then some praise for Floop, and then I'll get out your guys' hair. We'll be raiding Grimoire if they're still alive. If not, we'll raid that person. They changed their name, so I don't actually know who they are. I don't recognize they changed their username. Anyway. Okay. Crisp and clean, no caffeine. I actually had coffee for the first time like a month ago. Maybe it was 2 months ago. It was probably 2 months ago. It was some freeze-dried coffee from an MRE I ate like 3 years ago. Probably 3 years ago at this point. Maybe 2. And it was not very good. In 10 minutes, Aura's doing an ASMR stream. I see. We'll see if we get there.
Alright. Okay, I will do the squats after the trigger requests area. Okay. Good there. Thank you for being here. Oh, and Wally, please don't worry about sticking around. Take care of yourself. Get some food, get some water, take your meds, take your vitamins. Don't forget to brush your teeth. Do what you gotta do. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for trusting me with your community. Thank you, thank you. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Sorry, my lips are dry. Good there. You worked very, very hard this week. And I'm very, very proud of you. You're a very, very good boy. Good. Sorry, my voice keeps cracking. My throat's a little scratchy. I yapped for like 2 hours straight. Red. Good boy, Gunther, good boy. Very, very, very good boy. Good boy, Gunther, good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy, 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 good boy. Very, very, very good boy, Gunther. Good boy. Good. Boy, good boy. Good boy, 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 good boy. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy, good boy. Good boy, good boy. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Good. Good. Good boy, good boy. Good boy, 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 good boy. You're a very, very good boy, Gunther. Sorry if you guys are hearing that twang sound. It's my headphones. The head part of the headphones, I don't know what to say. Like the part that hangs on your head. The joint that slides the cup up and down is making noises, and I don't know why.
Some spring in there. I don't know.
Good boy, Gunther, good boy, good boy, good boy. Gunther, thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. I think it makes the world a better place, in my humble opinion, anyway. You're a very, very good boy. Good boy, Gunther, good boy. Good boy, good boy, good boy.
Good boy, Gunther. Good boy. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are such a good boy. Oh, look at you, such a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are such a good boy. Good boy, Gunther. Good boy. Yes, you are such a good boy. Look at you, such a good boy. Yes, you are. A very, very good boy. Yes, you are. Good boy, good boy.
Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy, Gunther, good boy. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are such a good boy. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy.
All right, there you go, Gunther. Next is. So I feels like I'm rushing. My dad cut off a bunch of limbs from the dying walnut tree in our front yard, and they've just been laying there for like 2 weeks because he didn't talk to anybody. It's just like he got his chainsaw working and he just did it. So there's just been the yard's been a mess for like 3 weeks. So we're cleaning that up tomorrow. So I just want to make sure I get enough sleep. Okay. Stretch from Floop. Okay. Then praise for Floop.
Whoop, you're a very, very good bird. And I'm very, very proud of you. You work very, very hard this week. And you deserve lots and lots of good rest. Your art is amazing. You're very, very talented. And you are deserving of love and care. You're very, very sweet. You're a very, very sweet bird. Thank you for being here, Flip. And thank you for being who you are. You're very, very sweet.
Alright, then squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then more water. Another stretch. Okay. Alright. Give me a second to swap my headphones and I will get out of your guys' hair. Okay. It's not. It's Minari. Minari changed her name. Okay. The hand looked familiar. Okay, make sure I spell this right. There we go. So I guess Minari rebranded. Or is in the process of rebranding. Okay. So we'll go say hi to her then. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for some Monster Hunter Stories 3. Thank you again for the raid, Wooly. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much. But yeah, please give Inari some love. I don't know how to pronounce her new name yet, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, I love you guys very much. Thank you guys for being here. Hi, Tego. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. Don't forget to brush your teeth, drink some water, floss, mouthwash, take your meds, take your vitamins, put on some cozy pajamas, and get some good sleep. I appreciate and love you all very much. Thank you guys for spending time with me tonight. Thank you. I guess I got the reading Wikipedia out of my system, so. Excuse me, sorry. Goodness, burp. Another burp. I'm gonna go find a snack and get ready for bed. Bye-bye. Good night. Bye-bye.